Welcome to the Maritime Engineering Category Training and the last few modules required to make you eligible for promotion to able seaman. In this module we've looked at engine configurations such as inboard, outboard and stern drive. If your unit is lucky enough to have a powerboat, then you'll most likely have an outboard available to you to have a look at and identify the parts that make it up. Brewpeg runs an inboard Cummins 855 diesel engine, which can also run on biodiesel and vegetable oil. Brewpeg does however carry outboards for our two tenders, Colander and Mishka, both of which are two-stroke engines. However, outboards held by A&C are all four-stroke engines, as two-strokes are no longer being sold in Australia and they're becoming less and less common, so we'll concentrate on four-strokes. Let's go through some of the components of a four-stroke outboard. The outboard is made up of the power head, the midsection and the lower unit. Let's look at the power head first. The power head is made up of the engine and tiller. You can think of this as pretty much any part of the outboard above the midsection. The four-stroke engine is used in many applications, from lawnmowers to cars. It's commonly referred to as an internal combustion engine because the combustion or burning of the fuel happens inside the engine. The four-stroke engine works on exactly that, four separate strokes: intake, compression, combustion, exhaust, sometimes known as suck, squeeze, bang, blow. Let's slow this down and have a look at the intake stroke. With the piston moving down the cylinder, the intake valve is open. This creates a vacuum inside the cylinder and that sucks fuel and air mixture through the carburetor and into the cylinder. Once the pistons reach the end of its downward stroke, the intake valve will close and the piston will start rising back up the cylinder, compressing the air and fuel mixture. If you look closely, you can see the spark plug has made a spark which ignites the compressed fuel and air mixture. This creates a contained explosion. This is the internal combustion part of an internal combustion engine, and this forces the piston back down, and this is where a four-stroke gets its power from. Once the power stroke is completed, the exhaust valve opens and the piston rises back up the cylinder, pushing the burnt gases out the exhaust. These four cycles repeat over and over until you turn the engine off. When the engine is idling, this cycle occurs around 800 to 900 times per minute. We call this RPM, which stands for revolutions per minute. Fuel, spark and compression are the keys to this process continuing. Loss of any one of these will cause the engine to stall.
Let's look under the engine cowling and see if we can identify some of the components. Remember, if you don't have an outboard in your unit, you can find a car or a motorbike in your car park. We can't see the internal components, but we can see the external ones. The easiest component to find is the spark plug, as it's accessible and removable. If you have an engine diagram handy, you will see that it is at the top of the engine in the cylinder head. On either side of the spark plug are the intake and exhaust valves. The intake side is connected to the carburetor and the exhaust valve to the exhaust. If we follow the lead running off the spark plug, it will head back to the distributor or coil, which is fed by the generator or alternator. These components work together to produce the spark that ignites the fuel. Now, knowing where the spark plug and valves are, we can be sure that the piston, rings, conrod and crank are directly behind the spark plug, and we should be able to see the cylinder housing and crankcase that surrounds them. Without pulling the engine apart, we can get a general idea of where these items are and how they would move.
We're glad that your facilitator has been able to show you these items on a unit outboard or a four-stroke engine. I hope this short video has been informative and we'll see you again soon.
Good luck with the material.
We'll see you further into the training.